Foods that will never expire. Soy sauce. That flavorful bottle of salty goodness so essential for Asian cooking and sushi dipping is not something you have to worry about expiring. It is also the bottle where the lid is a mess and the contents of the bottle have spilt out onto the side of the lid, leaving that disgusting ring of now sticky soy sauce on the edges. This is due to the acid hydrolyzed vegetable protein. However, traditional soy sauce only has 4 ingredients: water, soybeans, wheat, and salt. Generally, the sauce doesn't even need to be refrigerated after opening, unless you think it will take you more than a year to use the contents of the bottle. You might want to stash it in the fridge, since refrigeration helps preserve the distinctive flavor for a longer period. Otherwise, a cool, dark cabinet is fine, according to a report. Sugar. One of the evilest food in the world will never perish and would live to tempt people. The storage method you use for your sugar determines whether or not you can keep it forever. In order to get the longest shelf life out of your sugar, make sure it is stored in a dry place. The reason the sugar never expires is that the sweet ingredient soaks up what little moisture there is in microorganisms that occur naturally in the environment, causing them to succumb instead of making the sugar rot. However, once you mix sugar into anything it can expire, but on its own, it will last a lifetime. Don't mix this fact up with brown sugar, because the way that brown sugar has to be processed leaves it open for dryness and the opportunity to clump together. Instant coffee. Caffeine addicts are in luck because reportedly instant coffee can last 2 to 20 years at room temperature. And if you keep it in the fridge or freezer, it can actually last for the rest of your life. Fresh ground coffee is always the best, but instant coffee is a good substitute when that isn't available. Also, fresh ground coffee never keeps its freshness. After a while, it doesn't taste the same, and it's not as strong. When it comes to instant coffee, it can stick around for a pretty long time. Since instant coffee goes through such a harsh chemical process to dehydrate the crystals, they will likely never expire. White rice. Rice is easy to cook, it's filling, and totally delicious next to some sesame chicken. Reportedly, researchers have found that white, or polished, rice will maintain its nutrient content and flavor for 30 years. Only if stored in oxygen-free containers in temperatures below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Some even claim that if white rice is kept in the refrigerator or freezer, it can actually stay fresh forever. Brown rice, however, doesn't last nearly as long, 6 months, because of the natural oils found in its bran layer. To preserve the quality and prevent pest contamination, store it in a cool place in tightly sealed food-safe bags, plastic containers or glass jars. Honey. Almost everybody knows that raw honey never perishes because it's naturally antibacterial. Honey has also been known for being a superfood with loads of health benefits. According to a study, it can be stored for up to 12 months, ideally at room temperature in a dark cupboard. The processing and sealing of honey also add to its indefinite shelf life. Despite being low in moisture, honey's sugars are hygroscopic, which means that they take in moisture from the air. When the heated and strained honey is sealed properly, moisture cannot be absorbed, and the honey stays the same forever. Allegedly, the oldest jar of the sweet stuff ever found is believed to be 5,500 years old. Dried beans. Beans should be a staple in everyone's diet. They are high in protein and filling. Not to be confused with canned or fresh beans, dried beans last indefinitely, as long as they're stored in sealed or airtight packaging. As long as you store them correctly and don't allow any moisture into their package, then everything should be fine. If you're really not a fan of dry beans, then by all means get yourself some canned beans. They too can last a pretty long time in your cupboard, at least for a year. Pure maple syrup. Pure maple syrup, along with other commercial sugars, like honey and granular sugars, has an indefinite shelf life due to their resistance to microbial growth, including molds. Unopened maple syrup will last forever, but they also provide consumers with instructions should molding occur. If any harmless mold should form on the surface, merely bring the syrup to a slight boil, skim the surface, pour into a clean container and refrigerate. Pure maple syrup contains vitamins, minerals and antioxidants, and best of all, it doesn't have any artificial ingredients.